Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Strategic Command World War II War in the Pacific, but this is going to be a first look video, sort of. We've played Strategic Command World War II War in the Pacific before. However, what is new is there was a DLC which came out a couple of weeks back called Rise and Fall of an Empire. I believe this is sort of a Japanese focused DLC. It adds some early war scenarios in China. It adds some later war scenarios. I think it even includes the invasion of Japan. If we go to the single player here, we can see that there's a 1937 to Pearl Harbor scenario which was added. So that is part of the Rise and Fall of an Empire. I would have liked to have seen a 1937 Grand Campaign that went from Marco Polo all the way through to the end of the war. I don't actually see that as an option, which is a little disappointing. It ends at Pearl. It'd be cool if you could carry over wherever you were at Pearl, though, into the conclusion, but it doesn't. It also adds Operation Cornet, which is the final phase of Operation Downfall. The Kanto Plan Honshu Island is invaded. Operation Olympic, which I'm kind of going in reverse order, is the first phase of Operation Downfall of Kyushu, the invasion of Kyushu. Apparently the battle for Okinawa is also a scenario that's added here. Iwo Jima was part of the base game, so that's not new. August Storm, not new. Mariana's not new. The Impal and Kohima campaign is new, so it adds a invasion of India campaign. And I'm kind of assuming some of these campaigns, because they're shorter day phases, are like the World War I game. And actually, why don't we just take a real quick look? We're not going to play this scenario, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at this, because I'm assuming it's going to do a more focused map where you're just looking at like India and Burma, but I could be wrong. I haven't actually looked at this DLC previously. It's to the World War II Pacific game, yes. Yes, so this does appear to be a very focused map. You can see when you zoom out, this is just looking at the Indian frontier. So this is like those operational campaigns in the World War I Strategic Command game, where you can play more of a operational scenario rather than a strategic scenario, which actually is kind of interesting, especially for Impal Kohima. I think that's kind of a cool little thing. Let's go ahead and I don't know. Can we go to the main menu? I don't even know what am I doing here? Is this going to quit me out of the game entirely or just to the main menu? Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go ahead. I want to do the Marco Polo to Pearl Harbor campaign. I think that should be interesting. It's the largest of the campaigns on here. It's 80 days. It's closest to the base game where it's you know, the almost 2-week turns. They're 10-day turns. Most of these other more tactical scenarios are, you know, 30-day turns for Okinawa, but it's 3 days per turn, for example. Impal Kohima is 30 turns, 3-day per turn. Summer of Decision is kind of neat. That's the Japanese sort of path to try and see if they can win in 42. And actually that is the longest, I guess, in terms of the traditional World War II period. That goes from May of 42 to the conclusion of the war. So that's actually interesting. That would basically be, I think, assuming that starts with the Japanese foray into the Indian Ocean, and then obviously through Midway and through the rest of the war. But we're going to do Marco Polo to Pearl Harbor. Let's fight on the Chinese front. Let's see, you know, basically the second Sino-Japanese war, the war in Asia before the war in the Pacific. And I suppose we will play as the Japanese too, with no benefit. We'll play intermediate difficulty, no computer bonuses, just stock. Why does it show the German flag? That's confusing. If I go back here and I go Marco Polo to Pearl Harbor, why is the German flag there? What are they doing? Anyway, they had some advisors early on with the Chinese, I believe it was, but Tokyo, Empire of Japan. Japan enters the war with clear strategic advantages. Its modern military, naval dominance, and control of Manchuria enable rapid offensives into key Chinese regions. In-game Japanese units have superior combat values and experience, reflecting their early battlefield dominance. Backed by a strong industrial base, Japan aims for a swift victory supported by higher technology levels. However, underestimating China's resilience and the vastness of the territory pose a serious risk. Prolonged conflict will stretch Japan's supply lines and strain its forces, bearing real-life logistical challenges. Above all, Japan must prevent U.S. mobilization from reaching 100%. So I suppose this game, it takes place up till Pearl Harbor because the intent is to win the war in China before the U.S. mobilizes and forces, I'm using in quotes, you to bomb Pearl Harbor. General Kenchi Ueda, Kwantung Army Commanding General. General Song Tsuen, commander of the 29th Army, is a figure of complex loyalties. Once a warlord, his allegiance to the nationalist government has always been tenuous. Chiang Kai-shek harbors deep doubts about Song's reliability, particularly in the face of Japanese force. We might be able to take advantage of this. Intelligence reports suggest that we can secure his cooperation with a bribe. If successful, the bribe could lead to the evacuation of the 29th Army from Peking, a critical blow to China's defensive posture. However, there's also the possibility that Song will take the bribe but remain loyal, pocketing the funds while continuing to oppose Japan. Should we extend a 50 MPP bribe to General Song for a cost of 50 MPPs, there's a 25% chance his army will withdraw from Peking, or we can just pocket the money. 50 MPPs seems like a trivial amount for that chance. You got a nice little write-up about him. When the Marco Polo Bridge incident erupted in 1937, his 29th Army bore the brunt of Japanese assaults. Despite its valiant resistance, his force suffered devastating losses. Okay. Remnants of his force were in the rugged mountain borders of Han and Shanxi, transitioning to guerrilla warfare. The tragedy of the 29th Army underscores the deep fractures within Chinese leadership. Okay, once a pivotal figure of China's resistance against Japan, he spent his final years struggling with various illness. Despite seeking medical treatment, his condition worsened. At the age of 54, he passed away, leaving behind a complex legacy. Okay. Oh, I missed the betrayal part. Betrayal awaited him. The chairman of the Shantung province, rumored to have clandestine ties with Japan, forbade his retreat across the Yellow River. And they were shattered at this in the brutal winter of 37-38. Okay. I should really go and read Dana Ritter's The Forgotten Ally about the China War, the war in China. Yeah, we'll bribe him. I don't know if we find out right away if it succeeds or not. Okay, so we've got Korea here. This should all be our territory. It is. We've got Kisu up here on the upper right. Kusu. I can't pronounce words. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to use the excuse I'm on painkillers. I'm still dealing with a broken rib over here. It's misspelled. Yeah, I thought so. It looked wrong. All right. So we've got a small contingent here at Shanghai. We've got a Marine regiment at Shanghai. Got some gunboats there. What's the actual objective? Capture and hold Nanking, Tuyan, Wuchang, Ninang, Chongqing. Okay. Or reduce their national morale below 10. China, meanwhile, wants to get U.S. mobilization to 100%, or reduce Japanese morale below 40, or hold some of those cities. Okay. So we don't have a ton of troops on the map right now. Do we get more? I'm assuming we get more, but do we have to buy them, or do they? Okay, so we've got a carrier arriving in July next turn. Some Marines toward the end of July, some cavalry in August, a bunch of units arriving in September to October. Got some air units arriving then too. What's with the German thing? I don't understand why the Germans are on here. I know they had advisors with the nationalists, right? But that was that it has them on the Axis side, which I don't understand. Anyway, all right. Chinese Communist Party over here. The Great Wall. All right, so suppose initially, I mean, these are different like warlord tribes too in some of these areas. They're like quasi-independent from the nationalists, I suppose. I'm not really sure how this all will unfold. But I suppose the initial approach is just, try and overrun them in the north. We've got, are these like local troops? What's with the different icon? East Hebai? So are these like warlord troops that are on our side? Manchukuo forces, maybe? Do I have to worry about partisans? Not in my current provinces. All right, let's buy. How much is a division? I'm assuming it's expensive. A regiment is 50. That's a garrison. Brigade is division. Okay. You've also got elite. Okay. Light tank regiments. What about R&D? What do I have to do here? How much can I spend? I can spend up to 600. Let's immediately start with infantry weapons. I'm actually going to spend mostly on R&D this first turn, I think. So we've got 300 research funding right now. I can't spend the 75 left on anything else. Diplomacy, I suppose maybe we could spend it on keeping the US out of the war, although that costs 200 MPPs. The Chinese also cost 200. Do all these guys cost 200? Jesus. Okay, well, I can't do anything with that then. 75 MPPs is enough for a brigade. So we'll add that to the purchase tree. Okay. Let's do this. Let's move this brigade in and around and try and flank these troops. Undo that. Attack him at Peking. I guess we didn't get the bribe. I'm assuming that would have worked right away if we had succeeded. I'll try and flank him. So I have these two divisions up here. Assault the troops at Peking next turn. These guys down here will try and flank the troops in the south. And then do I have anybody in Japan, or are there any other units? Is that everything? Just the headquarters unit? Oh, we've also got these guys down here near Shanghai. I don't know that it probably doesn't make... I don't know if we get penalized for attacking the nationalists down here or not. Because, like, the assault on... This is... Or these are just like the assault doesn't begin the same day as Marco Polo down here in Shanghai, does it? Isn't that later? I don't know. All right, we'll send the turn. What a small initial starting scenario. General Song takes the bribe. Oh. Chiang Kai-shek sending reinforcements to Peking, but he took the bribe. You know, we're getting sort of event-driven reinforcements. Second United Front requires the Nationals to support the CCP. Well, he took the bribe, I guess. It didn't necessarily mean that he's going to have his army stand down. So we've got these different warlord areas joining the defense. So I suppose he took the bribe but didn't actually demobilize his troops unless there's another event that comes before our next turn. Maybe I should have waited to attack. Hey, never mind. The army disappeared. Chinese army poses a significant threat to our hold in Shanghai, and the situation growing increasingly precarious. Recruiting from Japanese civilian population, we propose forming a reserve infantry brigade to provide immediate support. Yes. Reserve brigade. Cool. And the High Seas Fleet shall join the fray. Not the High Seas Fleet, the Imperial Japanese Navy. What am I talking about? All right. Looks like he took the money and ran, which I'm good with. I don't need him to. All right, let's do some aerial reconnaissance out this way, just so we can make sure we don't get surprised by anything. Okay, so our flank will be open if we advance too far south from Peking. The good news is, though, we already took, we can take Peking right away. There. All right, so we drove those guys back. These guys can move in and take Peking, right? Yeah, so move the headquarters into Peking. Peking falls, it's ours. And we finished off the 51st Army. So the 29th Army just basically was like, nope, peace out, boys, we're gone. They're supplied down at all? Alright, so I moved this Saki brigade out here, hopefully to shield Peking from an attack from either the communist guerrillas near the Ming tombs or the Hebai Char political council army up this way. Ichigo, it does have a Impal Kohima scenario. Alright, I don't think it has Ichigo in China though, in terms of late war scenarios. Okay. DLC's already out, Terror. But thank you for the sub. Alright, so they moved their capital. Collaborationist troops of the East Hoppe Army rebel against the Japanese. What? How dare they do that? They did more damage than two Chinese armies. The one that deserted and the one that joined, or, you know, that we attacked. Peking is ours. The Sino-Soviet non-aggression pact is signed. Led to improving relations between the Kuomintang government and the Soviet Union. Soviets begin sending aircraft and other military equipment to the Chinese nationalists. Yunnan joins the nationalists and commits to the resistance against Japan. Decisive Chinese action in Shanghai increases national morale. What decisive action? What are you talking about? I was grinding them down. There's no decisive action there. Well, I guess they're raising reserves, which doesn't feel great. Chinese German train division deploys. No! Germans, you jerks! More troops are deploying to reinforce northern China. How am I going to get troops to Shanghai again? We're in some trouble down there. What unforeseen attack in Shanghai? I don't understand. We're aghast at Chiang Kai-shek's aggressive actions in and around Shanghai. Well, we were attacking first, I'm just going to say. The initial plan is to secure Shanghai region and press to Nanking with the ultimate goal of forcing the Chinese to fully cooperate. Yes. Give me more troops. Do these guys deploy in Japan because I don't have room for them in Shanghai? I'm not sure. But a bunch of troops are deploying in the south there. Formosa. Let's hold off on deploying all of these guys until I can maybe free up some space for them. There we go. Got him. Any of those other troops? No, they're not going to be able to deploy down there, are they? No. Okay, well, maybe I can operate them then there. Either way. So we successfully destroyed the Chinese army that was defending the remaining portion of Shanghai. I don't know how well we'll defend against them, but at least the one brigade of reserve infantry only has a frontage of 1, and the troops that have a bigger frontage are better troops. Okay. There's a lot of Chinese troops down there. All right. Meanwhile, driving down from the north, like, let's take Tientsin. Field artillery bombarding these guys also reduces their entrenchments. So we'll take that town. That'll open up the advance coming down that direction toward Xi'an in the north. Are we not at war with the Chinese Communists yet? I can't attack them. I have to check diplomacy. It says 100% mobilization, but it doesn't say we're at war with them yet. Interesting. Partisans, nothing that we've taken so far, so that's good. Move these guys into that city. Nice. What's the supply situation look like that? Not bad in the north, actually. I want to try and destroy what's left of these troops here in the north. Does the airfield like do anything for air units? I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. All right. Destroyed that sort of, I don't know what they are. Not really a partisan, but they're a warlord force, I suppose. Where's Chungking again on this map? Down here. The problem is our flanks feel like they're going to be in the air. Alright, meanwhile, new units, we get that Mongolian cavalry, which can still only deploy in one of those two regions. We've got 19 points left. We deploy some armor. We deploy some infantry. We can throw some of these guys on transports if we have... Well, we don't have enough points to operate them, I guess. We throw them on transports. Well, these guys we do. That brigade. I suppose we'll have to save that for next turn. Can we can give some of these guys elite reinforcements if we want. We'll move them onto transports next turn, I think. Hunan deploys units to the Shanghai area. God damn it, stop giving the Shanghai area more troops. More Japanese troops are arriving in Shanghai. Nice, we got a headquarters. Yunnan joins the Allies. Unfortunately, that artillery is one hex too far back. Shanghai industry relocated to Sichuan. And I'm sure I'm mispronouncing some of these words, so apologize, guys, for that. They're attacking my boats! Those jerks. Go China, go finish. I just saw that comment. Soviet volunteer group establishes bases in China. I know I'm a little behind. It was in my defense, it was at the top of the window. Do I have troops on the Shandong Peninsula? I think I've shown you all of my troops. Warning not to attack Hong Kong. Should Japan declare war on Hong Kong, the US mobilization will increase dramatically and quite possibly cause Japan to lose the war in China. Additionally, the British will start MPP convoys to China much earlier. Recommendation, do not attack Hong Kong. Dysfunctionality in the Japanese government and military. The factionalism in Japanese government, the competing... Oh, I didn't read it all. General Han Fu-Chu, commander of the Shantung province, has approached us independently of Chiang Kai-shek, seeking an agreement to spare his province from the devastation of war. Most practical course of action is to negotiate his forces' evacuation from Shantung, allowing the province to fall into the hands of our advancing troops. Han has agreed to this arrangement on the condition that he receives a monetary payment. Yes. Bribes. So Shantung just surrendered to us and is now under our control, except presumably for the areas where there are already Chinese troops, which I'm assuming is this little pocket here and here. The only problem is here they can really quickly retake the capital because I don't have any troops there. Oh, it said we were going to destroy them. Oh, no. Is that where the elite German trained troops are right here? The 88th Division? Nice to be able to destroy them, so I don't have to waste a ground attack on a 1 strength unit. I was hoping to clear out the way to the capital here. I assume the Chinese are going to just retake that province capital from us immediately next turn. I don't like deploying these troops in the north, but I've got to protect my flank, so. Spent all my money on the bribes. If I could have waited a turn on the bribe, that would have probably been preferable. So we'll lose this capital. The enemy will probably start retaking Shantung. Let's hold off on that attack for a turn. Force marching the cavalry down because cavalry will be useful for us spotting and screening and detecting where the enemy is. Nice. The reserves there just blasted apart that enemy formation. There we go, boys. Done, done, done. Another one bites the dust. All right, we destroyed 2 Chinese armies in front of Shanghai as we attempt to break toward Nanking. We'll hold off on further attacks. Next turn, we'll use the field artillery to break down this army in the south. I could move my carriers and stuff to support, but honestly, I'd like to move some. I'd like for it to be a somewhat organized approach. Can't fly any of these guys up here. They're not close enough. Well, these guys can bomb from here, though. Interesting. Do we have any interceptors? Apparently not. They also get a nice little recon over everything they overfly. The troops in Japan need to deploy. They have no money to get on transports, though. U.S. mobilization grows amid China's determination in the Battle of Shanghai. Really? Because we're just wrecking them. More units are deploying. Soviet volunteers. China's Communist Party is joining the fray. As I said, they're going to start moving into Shantung. They retook the capital there. Yes, U.S. mobilization is a lose condition. If U.S. mobilization gets to 100%, you lose. It basically just told us a turn or two ago, don't attack Hong Kong, or else. Also, the British start getting feisty then too. I suppose you could not listen to that and still attack Hong Kong. Now they're getting a bunch of morale because they liberated a province I bribed into our side. We're just going to immediately retake it though, so whatever, dudes. No, don't Damn it. I didn't want to take those casualties. There we go. We took some casualties there, but the goal was to destroy that unit so we could attack, re-attack the capital that they retook from us. And we just took it right back, like I said we would. I'm a man of my word. We'll leave these guys. I'm assuming they'll be cut off next turn. Thank you, Tommy. All right. So they deployed another troop up here in the north. Am I going to be able to break through in the north? Or am I just going to have this position be a defensive position? That might end up needing to be a defensive position. Units. Okay. Tempted to land on the flank of the enemy up here, although there's no supply to do that. We could land in the south with all those troops we have in Japan. Good job, Artie. Will they get rid of the entrenchment? We took some flak damage, but that's worth it if they get rid of the entrenchment. They did. Good job. 2-6, I'll take that. Although that wasn't quite as generous as I was hoping. Reserve Brigade, do your thing. Okay. The Battle of Shanghai won yet? We're pushing pretty comfortably out of the city now. I don't know what the game counts as. That. Fushan. Nice. Destroyed that enemy unit too. The 87th Army or whatever that was. So spent some of our points to bring in the 9th Division, which immediately finished wrecking that enemy formation. Can we get this armor there? No, they're not in the port. All right. Imagine getting on a ship and sailing directly from Japan to China and marched off the boat directly into combat. Hell yeah, brothers. It worked. We did our job. All right. From a game mechanic, it's kind of cheesy. I mean, it's a 2-week period for each turn, right? Like, you just want China to win. You're just biased, dude. There we go. Destroyed that enemy unit. I think maybe we cut these guys off from supply too, the 20th Army. Can I just fly them? They have to be based at an airfield. Do you have to, and maybe they're anchored to an airfield and then you got to operate them to move them? I'm not totally sure how that mechanic works. We need more troops in the north, especially with China joining them, to at least secure the flank. I don't know that I plan to advance up here, but I need to at least secure that flank if I'm going to keep pushing south. Need to secure Shantung and the troops that have started pushing in there. I think we'll be able to destroy these 2 units next turn and then shift south. Wuhan. Maybe go for a Chengdu. The problem with this is the map is so sprawling and spread out. It is difficult to, U.S. mobilization went from 5 to 14. It is difficult to have enough troops to have a cohesive front, so you leave a lot of gaps, which could, in theory, be exploited. All right, so we retook the city. Now they re-surrendered. They had already previously surrendered, but we re-surrendered. More Chinese troops are deploying near the Shanghai area. Quarantine speech. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt delivered a pivotal speech in Chicago calling for an international quarantine against the epidemic of world lawlessness spread by aggressive nations. China's national morale will increase, as while he did not explicitly name any countries, the speech was widely understood as a condemnation of Japan's actions in China. Oh yeah? Okay. War area headquarters established. Not defending Nanking decreases China's national morale. Wait. Did they declare Nanking an open city? I'm confused. They got oh, they destroyed one of my units? Really? Jerks. That's our first Japanese unit lost. But also they deployed an armored unit in front of it, which might be an annoyance. More units are arriving in Japan. We're calling up the reserves. Let us go fight. 14th Division destroyed. The League of Nations calls for an international conference on the crisis in China. Okay, you guys can talk. That's fine. We'll keep attacking. The 11th Army has 4 entrenchments near Hangzhou. We got rid of 2 of them. Oh, we got rid of all of them. Okay. I don't think my air units... they can bomb, but they won't be as effective. Got him. I don't know that I want to push too far too fast. None of these are national morale objectives, and all it does is expose my flank. So let's not do that for now. Ah. It's going to be real easy to get overextended here. Oops, I didn't mean to move there. I meant to move the other hex. Okay. All right, at least the Tai Lake here sort of shortens our lines a little bit. It sort of funnels our troops in through Wuxi, but it also does a decent job of protecting our flank until we get more troops in there. What's the supply situation look like there? Pretty good. All right, let's send more troops. So these guys can't unload. They've moved too far to unload on the same turn. So there is a limit to how far you can move and still unload. There you go. Fushan is just, it's close enough, I suppose. So we pushed an extra headquarters unit into the Shanghai area. It might be because we took that port that turn, but I thought we took the other port that previous turn also. All right. So we got a bunch of troops in Japan to deploy, but good job, cavalry. All right, so success on the north. Where are the interceptors coming from? Got him. Oops. Too fast, too furious. Riding those horsemen forward. Do I have to worry about partisans anywhere in here? No. Got him. All right. Okay, we gotta shift some troops south toward Sarjung, however you pronounce that. In theory, we could hit Nanking from the north, but okay, partisan. All right, not much in the north to worry about partisan wise. So we got multiple warlord tribes to go after. Tribes might be the wrong word, but whatever. Whatever you want to call them. Are they pushing in from here? It might be. Might be someone here. I'm not sure. I need more troops. My front lines are way too spread out. Another headquarters unit up there in the north too. All right, some more troops are deploying to the Shanghai area. The Central China Front Army headquarters. Okay. Infantry weapon level 2, 41%. Oh, we did spend all our money. CCP guerrilla bases are established in the Wutai Mountains. Jerks. All right. Does that mean we're going to get more partisan hexes we got to worry about now? Maybe they would have gotten another unit if we... It looks like one of those cities we actually had troops in. Okay. Chiang Kai-shek has appealed to signatories of the Nine-Party Treaty in an effort to deprive us of our rightful gains in China. A conference has been scheduled to address the matter. Our participation requires careful consideration, as any attendance might be perceived internationally as contradicting the Japanese government's stated position that the current incident in China falls outside the scope of the Nine-Power Treaty. Attending the conference will result in only minor increase in U.S. mobilization, but it will negatively impact our national morale. How's our national morale now? It looks pretty decent. How much of a hit did we get? Okay. Japan didn't attend historically. What do we do? I guess we'll stick to history. How much did their mobilization increase? 10%. They're up to 24. So I think the port is actually damaged here, and that's why they're not able to unload. Oh no, they can unload now. Okay. Well. There's no real national morale objectives in the south here. There's also potential need to garrison partisan units. So like, I think I'm better off shifting north and continuing the drive on Nanking. Okay. Surprised my armor isn't better than that. In the event, I guess we were attacking over a river. Enemy's got artillery support. And I was hoping we wouldn't take any damage on that. All right. Attacks in Shanghai continue. Good job, cavalry. Probably need to pull you out of the front lines a little bit. Okay. Yep, this has to be garrisoned. I think by being adjacent to it, it's effectively garrisoned. Damage evaded, those jerks. Okay. That's so much money to move these bombers. These guys can at least fly for free over here. Oh, these guys can too. We haven't. Oh, we have an airfield down here, I guess. Okay. All right, that pretty much does it. I don't want to attack down here and weaken my own troops until I'm ready. We'll wait another turn on that. We've got 140 MPPs. Let's bring these troops in. Thank you for the sub. All right, let's bring some heavy artillery for the siege of Shanghai. Fourth field artillery. Deploy south. Last transport available this turn. I mean, we probably should be flooding troops in the north too, right? They've got a Japanese gunboat at Tsingtao, despite it being our own territory-ish. You know what we should do? Let's use our carriers to attack those gunboats. Surprised how long a range our bombers have. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this first look of Strategic Command World War II War in the Pacific, Rise and Fall of an Empire. The beginning of the Second Sino-Japanese War is underway. We're making we're making progress in the north and the south. It's a bit of a slog, but we are still making progress. We're a little behind. We should take Nanking right about now, historically speaking, but obviously that's not going to happen quite yet. That being said, hope you guys are enjoying this look. We will continue this series in the following episodes. Until then, however, this is the Historical Gamer once again saying thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.